Good morning, good afternoon, good day, good evening to everyone. I'm Captain Gaurav Rana. I run Sea and Beyond, and this is a one of its kind webinar, which is being jointly done not just by an industry by Sea and Beyond, but an industry partner as well. And where we are going to not just talk about opportunities in the port sector, but we are also going to present to you real opportunities and how you can get into these opportunities. So a lot of your questions would essentially be answered in one go in through this webinar, or later on we could answer them through one-to-one sessions with C and Beyond team as well. So welcome everyone, all the participants, and a very warm welcome to Captain Pawanbir, to Suryameet, to Tarana from JM Baxi, and we really look forward to hearing from you during the webinar. Now, just a quick points before I start the webinar. Why we are doing this is to increase your awareness about the opportunities in port sector, wherein you will get consolidated information from credible sources. So right from the decision makers is what you will get the information one. The idea is that you can take a relevant decision based on the information which is there. So that's the vision of Sea and Beyond, to help maritime professionals take a well-informed decision. And that's in line with that, we are doing this webinar. A few do's and don'ts over here. Speaking rights would only be given to the host and the presenters. If you want to communicate, please communicate through the chat window. You may write your question and I will take it at the end of the webinar. If you really want to speak, please just raise your hand. There is a button in Zoom. Raise your hand and we'll probably later in the part of the session, we may allow you to speak. As I requested earlier, kindly rename yourself, rename to your real name, not the name of your family member or the name of the device which may have occurred. Our focus is to help you take well-informed decision. There are a lot of participants, I see about 120 odd. So it might be very, very difficult to answer very personalized question. And we will pick and choose the questions which come through and answer. But a very specific question, we could take it at the end of the session, or maybe, one-to-one through C and Beyond team. Focus here will be on opportunities in port sector. So if you have any questions related to ship management opportunities or other opportunities, we would probably take them in a separate webinar. So that's our humble request and some do's and don'ts for the webinar. Before I introduce our speakers, let me take a quick poll and introduce and take an introduction from the audience as well. So here there would be a poll which you should be able to see in your screen. So as an introduction to the speaker, to the participants, what is your current rank? Are you sailing top 4, operations level, sailing? Are you ashore with a sailing experience, or you are ashore with no sailing experience? So what's your background? Will be great to know. And in the meanwhile, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the two speakers for today, Captain Pawanbir Virk, who's the Senior Vice President Containers in JM Baxi Group. So, he's got 35 plus years of maritime experience in shipping, mostly in shipping, but then into port management and logistics. He sailed as master. It's been about 22 years since he's moved ashore. Most of the time he's spent with Scorpio Ship Management in operations, but he's one of the very few people I know of who has moved from a ship management to a more port management side. Very, very few people, and we'll of course know more about him during his presentation. But that in itself, is really nice. And so we get to leverage his experience and understand how mariners could transition and what is in it in the port sector, right? um, what are the skills required, and what are the opportunities in the port sector from him. Then we've got Suryameet, and Suryameet is the President HR and CHRO of JM Baxi Ports and Logistics. She's of course done her MBA from Symbiosis with 24 years plus years of experience. She's worked with APJ, Reliance, and is now heading the HR and admin across JM Baxi. So welcome both of you, and it's a great platform wherein we have the industry and we have the participants, wherein we can interact, we can tell us more about the opportunities and address some of the questions which the participants have. So thank you both of you for joining in.
Thank you, Gaurav.
And herein, let me share the participants' profile as well. So we've got almost 46% as sailing, top four sailing, who are still sailing but at a top four level. We've got 31% as ashore with sailing experience, and then still sailing at an operations level of 21%, and a few, about 5%, who are ashore with no sailing experience. So that's the audience mix for all of us to know. And before I hand over the platform to Captain Pawan, let me take one last poll. And this poll is, a lot of you might be looking at transitioning. So what, as per you, is the most difficult part in the transition ashore? So as per you, what's the most difficult part? And then we will request Captain Pawanbir to take over. So there are four options: lack of visibility of the roles, lack of clarity on progression, not sure which role would be best for you, or structured guidance. So, wow, the top three options are, we've got almost equal response. Lack of visibility of the roles, lack of clarity on progression, and not sure which role would be best for you. And I'm sure you will get a lot of your answers during this webinar on these three things. Structured guidance is a separate, which we could connect. You could connect separately with C and Beyond as well. All right, then I think that's pretty much from my side. I will request Captain Pawanbir to now come and talk a bit about the opportunities which are there for mariners, provide an overview of the maritime ecosystem, how the industry there's an evolution in this industry, talk a little bit about JM Baxi Group, and how maritime professionals can transition from a sea-based role to shore-based role. So over to you, Captain Virk.
Thank you, Captain Gaurav, and welcome everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Namaskar, everybody, and thank you for taking your time out to attend this webinar. As the poll showed, that most of you in this webinar have spent years, some few years at sea, and I've been out at sea as well. I joined sea in 91, and I stayed for some 13, 14 odd years. And navigation, being out at sea teaches us a lot of discipline. It teaches us how to deal with complex situations, systems, how to do work to precision under pressure, how to take decision under challenging environments. This is what C or our profession has taught us. And let me tell you, everybody present over here, there are not many industry in this world, I would say, which can teach you such a vast experience in the 10, 15 years of you being at sea, and you've done all of this. And there are not many industries, so that makes you very competent professional when it comes to where all these characteristics are required, and this is required in almost all the industry. You know, that's why, when you say you don't have clarity, even I had the same situation when I was planning to come ashore. What things I need to do? Should I get into safety? Should I get into crewing? Should I get into this? Because that is what when we are sailing, are we exposed to? Because we just look at safety, crewing, inspections, surveying, and that's all we look at. But the maritime industry itself has significantly, transformed itself. It has become, it's expanding so rapidly, and there are so many different things which are now available. It's the ship is just a small part of the supply chain, and this chain is becoming more and more integrated, and the ports are, just not a place where the vessel berths and discharges and goes. There's way beyond the port, beyond the terminal. There is a very sophisticated logistic connectivity of the cargo from the first mile to the last mile. And there are many parties which are involved in this cargo. Let it be oil, let it be bulk, let it be containerized. There are different owners, there are different ways, different modes, which which the cargo takes. I mean, if in an oil, it's tank, pipe, ship, and then again tank, pipe, ship, and then the retailer or an airport where the jet would probably go. Same way goes with the containers, right from the from the raw material to the factory to the production to the ship, again back landing, again the same thing to the end user. It's evolving all the time, and this is where we when I say we guys is like we are all we're all mariners, all sailors, where what we have learned out at sea really helps us do this job to perfection. um, and I presently work for JM Baxi. I look after the container side, or ports and logistics business. But I'll just tell you a little bit about what JM Bakshi, like I was talking about the various opportunities or the various things which are available for mariners. Like JM Bakshi, I'm sure all of you have heard that name. I think it's one of the oldest name. Any seafarers who have ever touched an Indian port knows what JM Bakshi is. It's a century old company. It's uh, it's into every vertical minus ship owning. It's into any marine vertical which you can think of. It's into various things, like we were into agency husbandry. We are into ports and terminals. We are into logistics, multimodal transport. We are into bulk cargo, project cargos. We are into marine technical services. I will explain all of these things in detail for you to understand what kind of a what kind of opportunities are there ashore when you have finally decided to hang your boots and you want to come ashore. I will explain all these things, what we do in JM Bakshi. When I was talking about to you about talking about about the agency part, we have traditionally we have been yeah, I was talking about the different verticals which at JM Bakshi we are into, and I did mention that there's every vertical that is present in the marine industry. JM Bakshi is into it, minus ship owning. We don't own ships. Besides that, we do everything. So just I'll give you a brief of what we do in JM Bakshi. I'm not highlighting what JM Bakshi does. I am highlighting to you what all opportunities you guys have ashore. It's I'm not trying to sell JM. I mean, nothing to sell JM Bakshi over here, frankly. It's just for my brothers. I'm trying to say I'm trying to show you the other side, because I did mention that when we are sailing, I'm repeating because I'm not too sure when I got disconnected. Because when you're sailing, all we think about is I will get into an office, do crewing. Oh, I will become a technical superintendent. I will become a marine superintendent. I will get into safety. Oh, I will do pre-wetting inspections. I'll do wetting inspections, or I'll get into, you know, the commercial operations. And because this is what we have seen when we have sailed, this is what we were exposed to. But the life ashore is very different, and it is way beyond what we see or are exposed at sea. And I like to, that's why I said we don't own ships at JM Bakshi, and we do a lot of things uh, which is for a normal sailor who's been out at sea would be a few things he would be able to see. Yes, I know that we do there is a certain jobs available over here, but I'll go beyond that where will open your eyes and you say, okay, there's plenty scope for people who are sailing. Okay, let's start with what we first do is we are into agency husbandry. Husbandry agency is basically the agent you see who comes on board, and he lies with the customs, the port authorities, arranging pilotage, berth allocation, getting the crew sign-on, sign-offs, buying provisions if required, or basically being assisting the master when the vessel calls in the port, and at the same time helping the owners arrange to pay the port dues and everything on time. That's what JM Bakshi is into as well. We are also into agency of our containers. Basically, what this means is, in a layman's language, I'll try to make it as simple as I can. Not every container company in the world has offices in every port or every country. So what they do is, in case if the vessel is calling, or they can book a cargo on a particular vessel, then they hire an agent who would be their representative, look for their cargo, for their containers, and put those boxes onto the vessel, and at the same time unload the empty containers, which he can use. He can find another cargo, so the vessel, when she returns, he puts it back. It's a little complex situation. I'm trying to break it into as simple as I can. Basically, he is an agent doing your looking after the owner's interest in that country. JM Bakshi does that as well. Our core business, our biggest business is we are into ports and terminals. We've got sea ports, primarily looking after. So we've got container and non-container. So we have got container terminals right from on the east coast from Haldia, Vizag. We've got a few down. We got Tuticorin, and on the west coast we have one in Mumbai, Nhava Sheva, and then we've got Kandla. These are our container terminals. You know exactly how container terminal works. The main uh, job over here is to load and unload the boxes and store them and deliver the boxes either on a truck or a train, whatever arrangements the consignee or the shipper has made. Again, like if I say, what does a chief officer do on a ship? He says, oh, he loads and unloads. Period. It's something how I'm talking. We load and unload. There is a lot of complex operations that goes on. When it comes to doing the operations safely, efficiently. There is a lot of planning required for yard management. When I say yard management, you don't want to move. So when a ship is coming in, you unload the vessel and keep those boxes in a stacked up one area so that you're not looking for those containers once the vessel sails. And at the same time, the containers which are to be loaded onto the ship are stored in a particular area so that you don't do too many shufflings or you waste time and the vessel is actually waiting for the cargo to come on board. That's complex situations which are there in the container terminal. And seafarers who've been out at sea and who've done the various works from mooring to navigating or being in the engine room doing the purifier or the auxiliary engine to the time of doing cargo operation, operating cranes. I think we guys have done everything. And our brain is wired or tuned is the right word. Over the years, we have done this and you know, we got multiple skills. And at the same time, safety is on our back of our hand. Efficiency is in this part of the head. And all these concussions makes this job for an opportunity in ports and terminals the most apt thing for a sailor because he's already done this, but in a different way. He has to just like Captain Gaurav was mentioning me from ship operation getting into the ports. Everybody would say it's an uphill task, but when you apply your mind and you've been so tuned and you've lived so many years doing marine operations, you realize that it's not that difficult. So we we are besides ports and container ports, we are into logistics and multimodal transports. People are going to get the shock of their life if I tell them we have our own trains. We run our own trains. We move the containers move on ships, containers move on train as well. It's a part of logistics. Somebody will say, what do I have to do with trains? Exactly. We are into logistics business, right? And if the containers can move through train, through ships, they move through train. It's the same thing which is required, which needs to be done. What you do on the ship, the same thing applies to do on the train. And for that, we have an ICD. An ICD is an internal container depot. It is a port minus the ship. So it is an inland port. And instead of ships, there are trains. But it works just like a port. It works just like a port. So we have ICDs. And then besides the ICDs, now we have to move the cargo beyond to the factory or to a guy who wants us to carry that cargo, let it be containers or let it be bagged products or let it be uh, oil in containers. There's a lot of bitumen demand in India. There's a lot of bitumen which comes in because of the road construction we are having across in the country. And they want this specific cargo at a specific area. Then we have trucks. So we have ports. From port, we put it on the train or a truck that takes it into an ICD where the stuff is, custom cleared, destuffed, taken out, put into another local truck, and taken to the end user. And that's an end-to-end. Master mariners or people who appear for masters would understand when I say multimodal transport, what it means. This is exactly what JM Baxi is into. Besides this, we are also into bulk and project logistics like container terminals. We also have bulk ports where we handle steel, fertilizers, minerals, and project cargoes. We have these ports on the East Coast, in the West Coast. We have one in Mumbai. These operations involve specialized handling equipments, complete cargo planning, and at the same time, all these ports, we have a lot of stevedoring work being done, right? So there's a lot of manpower we deal with. We deal with the crew on the ship, which we deal with 10, 15 of them, and here suddenly those 10, 15 becomes 100, 200, but how to deal remains the same. Just the scale changes, I think, and this ability everybody who's been out at sea can manage very well. All right, going forward, besides this, we are also into marine technical services. When I say technical services, like we are into diving operations, we are into underwater inspections, not the ships, but of the marine structures or wharfs or ports or various other things. We are into underwater inspections, we are into repair, we are into port infrastructure maintenance, we are into marine constructions. Again, this I will tell you where the marinas fit in into this. People will say, "Oh, I've never done a marine construction. I don't know how it works." But it's not how it works, because you're going to take 6 months to know how it works. But what needs to be done so that it is handled efficiently, when it constrained to time, cost, deliverable, safety, these things are ingrained in anyone who's been out at sea. So marine professionals, when they come ashore, these are the qualities you have, and this needs to be, these are the core competencies you have, core competencies, which is required under any vertical, um, wherever you come ashore. And I think your experience at sea, you understand the importance of discipline, let it be time management or let it be operational discipline. You do understand safety, you understand risk management, you weigh the pros and the cons, and more time you've spent at sea, more time you've had similar situations, and you've kind of mastered that art. uh, you know the functions of how cargo operations or the delays or in any operations, say from picking up pilot to the mooring to loading to discharging, or let's say repair work which we are doing onto the ship, the engineers are doing to the main engine. You do understand the impact, the financial impact, the yeah, difficult. I was in the floor. Yeah, so when you've been out at sea, you understand the importance of you do understand that agar if there's a delay in operations, whatever operations, cargo, navigation, maintenance, repair, or anything, whatever you're doing, what impact it has financially to the financial impact on the company, the reputation which is at stake as well. Nowadays, reputation and finances go together. What if you can't deliver anything on time and efficiently? It besides the financial losses, there's a loss of face as well, which I think all of us who have been out at sea do understand. And we have a very regimental way of working. Captain Gaurav, assume all are Indians?
That's right. Most are Indians.
And I can see -5. Most of us has been out at sea, so everybody knows what a quarter is like. Ashore will say quarter is a quarter of a whiskey bottle, but we say quarter is 15 minutes to work. And we, when I used to sail, or rather, I think that the tradition is still on. Getting late on a watch, it was criminal. That's the kind of a discipline we have grown into. If you have to go on a watch at 4 बजे जाना है, मतलब 4 बजे जाना है. The guy would be, but even if he's leaving a guy who's junior to him, but he would be on the bridge at 4. And that's kind of a discipline we've grown in, and that's the kind of a qualities we've been, you know, drilled in, ingrained in us, and which is going to take you take any role you want to take ashore. Uh, that will really really help you. Um, so yeah. I just gave you a brief of what JM Bakshi does and the different roles we have. I think Miss Suryameet is there with us as well. She's a group HRO. She knows every business more in detail than what I would probably know. But yeah, this is what JM Bakshi does, and I promised Captain Gaurav I would speak a little more. But there are various other roles as well which you can look ashore. There is of course, the ones which you have always been seeing from the time you have entered shipping, that is crewing. Then there are the MMD surveyors, and then there is the cargo surveyor, and then you've got technical management, you've got marine management, then you've got marine consultancy, then you can be a safety officer or safety inspection in a marine role. You can do safety. You can do training. There are various training schools or education thing we have across the country that you can get into training. Then we've got commercial part of it as well. We've got commercial operations. We've got post fixtures where you do demurrage calculations, and or we've got back office jobs of doing post disbursements, managing cash flows for the companies. Um, and then you have commercial fixtures as well. So these are the opportunities which are there ashore. And when you come ashore, there is, there are super specialized jobs as well. Like, how to put it in words, like, you have a doctor who's MBBS, and now we have a doctor who is MS, and now we've got a doctor who is DM. So he's an MBBS, he is an expert of a kidney, and then you have somebody who is expert in the left part of the kidney. So that's how the shore job is. When you come ashore, you get into a shore job, you get into a particular thing, and then you keep getting better and better, and you're in, you get specific into a particular role, and that becomes a specialty. That's how it is. So yeah, that's all from me, Captain Gaurav, and thank you everybody for your patience and listening to me. And if you have any doubts or if you require any further clarifications or information, please feel free to reach out to the team of C and Beyond, and they would eventually reach out to me. You're more than welcome. We are fraternity brothers and sisters over here.
Right. No, thank you so much, Captain Pawanbir. So can you also tell us a little bit about, so for example, in an agency, at what level do you think mariners would enter or at a terminal and maybe a senior officer would enter at what level? What is the progression? What are the typical skills which would be required in these roles or any kind of personality which is preferred over here. So if you could just talk us through.
Okay, so Captain Gaurav, this answering to what you just asked is, let's say, like in a husbandry role, also let's say in a port and terminals, the the role which is normally offered to ex-mariner is a managerial post where he is required to quickly understand what the business needs are. He would be taken in a role of a, like say, manager, where he understands what the job, what the business requires, because he's been out at sea. Uh, and he would have people reporting into him, and his work would primarily being making sure that that business is as usual, as far as efficiency is concerned, as far as safety is concerned, and as far as liaising between different departments or government bodies, inter or intra. That's where he enters. And and then he rises up the corporate ladder.
Understood, sir. How about
Just
on
to
the
add,
yes,
if I
please.
may pitch in here, Gaurav, what Captain Pawanbir said, additional to that, at this point of time, there's a lot of work in terms of the stakeholder management. So that's one more skill which is required for the mariners at this point of time in this role. Additionally, liaising with the port authorities, government licensing, and licensing with the ship owners is also a very critical aspect in this particular role in marine. So
Absolutely.
basically, all husbandry activities, all needs being met, depending on the agreement or the contract, is what this person in marine services will land up doing. So we need a multitasker who understands the needs of the shipping people, understand the requirement and managing the licensing aspect along with the stakeholders. A lot of emphasis is also on the procurement part. So there would be some bit of corporate roles where a lot of procurement areas are to be managed other than the operational part.
Okay. And actually, I was coming to that as well. Now, in terms of you know, are there any roles where probably there is a little bit more preference for deck officers, or roles where there are preference for engineers? And what would these opportunities be? Maybe both of you could go first,
Okay,
Captain.
so I will take that, Suryameet, if you allow me. Uh, okay, I'll be blunt. I'm a sailor. All of us are sailors. We talk very nicely. We talk very candid. Typically, once we're sailing, when we जब जहाज पे नौकरी कर रहे होते हैं, the guys who are on the deck, like the chief officer and the masters, or the second officers as well, our exposure to the outside world is much, much more. We deal with more people, we're dealing with the cargo surveyor, we are dealing with the pilots, we're dealing with this, which engineers unfortunately don't get to deal so much. They do deal, but I'm not saying they just don't deal, but they do deal, but the dealing there is much more on the deck side. So typically a guy who is a master mariner or a senior chief officer or something, he comes ashore, the licensing part naturally comes to him, and when you have a port, you have an infrastructure, that's where the engineers who've been a marine with a marine background, who can handle, every kind of a machine, right from generators to the boilers to the main engines and that's exactly what our infrastructure of the port has. We have got big cranes. The ship has a 15-ton crane or a 20-ton crane. I have not worked on the general cargo, so I don't have any experience. But like a typical tank of 15 ton ki hoti hai. But here you've got big gantries to load and unload containers. We've got big RTGs, in the terminal, moving containers from one yard to the other yard. And then you got this reach stackers. I don't know how many of you have actually worked, or you have this different equipments which needs to be maintained same way as how we maintain on the ship, the different equipments, right from uh, yeah, the various equipments. We have incinerators and everything is ashore as well, right? So that's where engineers fit in, and as and when the people rise up the corporate ladder, there is an integration of or mixing where people do understand maintenance part. Like I being a master mariner, I'm very actively involved in maintenance of a lot of equipments across our terminals, and at the same time there are people who've been engineers who are very actively involved in our commercial operations and dealing with various different stakeholders. So yeah, that's if I've answered all your points.
Right. Suryameet, from your side, any preference, a role where you would prefer a deck officer versus a marine engineer?
So in marine services, Captain Rana, there would be slightly limited roles for the technical people. But when it comes to ports and logistics, there are enough opportunities available. Other than this, even in your shipyard piece, which is part of the marine services, where there are a lot of marine assets, shipyards, uh, shipbuilding areas being developed by JM Baxi. Those are the areas where we are needing specifically technical people.
Okay. Understood. Understood. So I think there are a lot of questions coming in, but let's just probably finish this part of, about the opportunities within JM Bakshi. We want to build a pipeline of leaders who are from a shipping, sailing background. So if one of you could probably tell us a little bit more about, what is the thought process behind having this program? What kind of people are we looking at in terms of the skills, in terms of flexibility, and where these opportunities would be. So if we could know a little bit more about the opportunities in JM Bakshi and the program.
Pawan,
Suryameet,
do you want to take, or can I take
No.
this?
On to you, Suryameet.
Thank you so much. So, as Captain Pawanbir very clearly said, in terms of the verticals available with us, currently we are expanding in both ports and logistics as well as marine services vertical. And when we're talking about marine services, it also includes shipyards, shipbuilding, and the agency business as well. So currently, why we are here is because we want to get a program launched within JM Bakshi, which is called as Accelerated Leadership Program, where we are giving a fast track production, fast track career opportunity to seafarers in all verticals, starting from ports and logistics, where there would be opportunities in terms of operations, terminal management, sales and business development, engineering and maintenance opportunities are available, safety, and even some of the functional roles. So these are some of the verticals or functions available within ports and logistics segment. Other than this, our marine services, we are looking at branch operations managers. We are looking at corporate resources who can manage the business development part. They can manage the procurement part and also support in the branch operations activities. This current program is basically available for fast track progression for candidates who want to really look at a long-term career with JM Bakshi. There would be 9 months mentorship program where they will be given an opportunity to work in a particular role, followed by classroom assessments, classroom intervention, some kind of job rotations within the different verticals. So they would be observed for 9 months end to end, and they will be given visibility to the leadership management. And if they're doing well, the growth is in their hands. So this is the first time where we are launching this kind of intervention where people will get lot of visibility, lot of learning opportunities, but it is depending on the each individual how they can take their career ahead. So that is all from my side. In case Pawan, you want to add anything in specific?
Now, Suryameet, you've covered up everything. I was just going through the questions, and there was one question somebody asked is, what is the age? There's no age. It's not that you have to join SEEC as a cadet before 21 or 24 if you're a graduate. No, there's no age. I mean, whenever you think you want to hang your boots, that's the right time. There's no age limit.
Yeah. But younger the better, because we would want to invest in people who have a long career ahead of them on the shore jobs.
Right.
And one more very critical aspect is mobility. We are looking for people who are open to geographical mobility as well.
Right. Great. So, I mean, just for the benefit of everyone, and probably not many would realize this, but these are the kind of opportunities which mariners would never had. Uh, um Maritime conglomerates like JM Baxi, and with a very neat and with a good vision, can only offer such opportunities into various sectors, and having a progression path in a little bit more defined manner, wherein if you see over here, the company is investing in each of you. When they're saying they have a 9-month mentorship program, which means that a company is going to teach you, whosoever is selected, to groom them into leadership positions. So not many roles worldwide come up in maritime industry. I think in India, it's probably a pioneering kind of program which is happening, and I think we should all consider and be thankful for JM Bakshi to offer these roles. And while you're there, Suryameet, and I'm sure a lot of them would have this question. When mariners come for interview, right? Now, what is it that you look at? How do you evaluate from a HR perspective, personality perspective? What are the things which you are looking at? That'll be, great to hear from you.
So we understand, Captain, that most of the seafarers who want to come to shore job, for them, technically they know what they do. Coming to a corporate job, agility is very important. Learnability is very important. And we are looking for people who are honest as an individual and want to give the best to the organization. So behavioral aspects really matters a lot. Some of the technical aspects can be trained as long as the individual has a learnability aspect. So we are looking at smart, sharp individuals who are ready to learn. And we are looking for people who don't want to just work as per the job description. They should be agile. They should be ready to grab opportunities, saying that other than my day-to-day job, if there's an additional job available, I want to do it. So they need to show that kind of multitasking attitude also. So we're looking for somebody who wants to make their career and a long-term career with the organization.
Great, great. And which locations are we looking to initially hire? We understand it'll be a flexible this thing, but initially which locations?
I don't think we showed one slide which talked about our geographical presence. If you allow me a moment, I will probably just share a particular slide which talks about our geographical presence. Perfect. So if you see this particular map, we have 60 offices across India, 11 commercial ports and terminal locations, 1 cruise terminal, 3 inland container depots. So wherever you see these dots, we have opportunities moreover in most of the locations. But majorly to begin with, Bombay, Kandla, Visakhapatnam, Paradeep, and I think Sonipat, Ichhapuri. These are the very critical locations where we would want to begin with, and Haldia as well in East. But this is our geographical presence. In a longer run, there would be opportunities available for mobility anywhere.
Right. So basically, for people all across India, if you would like to probably start at somewhere closer to your home base, there are opportunities available. But please remember that in leadership programs, you have to be mobile, and that's how you will grow. Otherwise, the growth gets stunted. So do remember that. Great.
Rana, am I able to answer to your question?
Yes, you were. Thank you.
Perfect.
Right. And I think there are a couple of questions in terms of how this program would be like, how would it be the application process be like. And let me quickly share the application process for everyone to see. We would expect the applications to come by 18th of March, which is about 4 or 5 days from now. In the next 4 or 5 days, we would request all of you to do a psychometry test, right? The psychometric test would essentially help you understand and ultimately, JM Bakshi, that which kind of field may be more suited to your personality. And as we've already said that there are opportunity in ports and terminals. Within ports and terminals, there are opportunity in BD, maintenance, ops, terminal management. Then we've got opportunities in marine services and probably shipyards also, that was mentioned, that may be coming up. So that psychometry test will give all of us a better visibility that for our personality, which kind of role would be better. Then there would be an internal assessment, which would, through our recruitment executives, Captain Vineet is there, there would be an internal assessment. Then there would be a stage of technical interviews and group discussions, which would happen with the JM Bakshi team. And that would finish by 10th of April. And by 17th of April, the offers would be rolled out. Acceptance by in another week or so maximum, and we're looking at a start of program from 4th of May, right? So those are tentatively the dates which we have in mind, and the process that will take in terms of the application journey. Suryameet, you have any comments to make on this?
I think you've covered it all. See, but very clearly the timelines mentioned by Captain Rana is what we will stick to, because our program starts probably on the 2nd of May. And we would want everyone to onboard before that. Any delays would delay our program start. So we would expect us to stick to these timelines which are there on the screen right now.
Right. Thank you. Pawanbir,
just a few things. I was just going through the questions, Captain Rana. I think somewhere I read that, are we going to get paid for during the program? Definitely yes. We would not want any free labor with us. We want leaders to grow with us. Absolutely. You will get paid during this training program also. And honestly, we will try and place people more closer to the role what we envisage them during our assessment process for a particular role. So if we feel somebody is good at terminal operations, geographically also for a particular location, we will give them a posting in that particular location so that they are able to interact with the management there. They are able to see the day-to-day operations in that particular geography or that particular terminal. Whereas they would be available to rotate in other roles and locations as well. So there would be a proper offer given to you, salary paid from day one.
Thank you for clarify that. So I think that's the important part over here. Look at normally when jobs come up, the job is for say a terminal manager, for a marine superintendent, right? And you guys don't have an option to maybe choose, if I may call, or maybe opt for a relevant role which suits you. And there are very few companies in the world who are a conglomerate who can offer you options basis your basis what you like, basis what has come out from probably a test, or basis what interests you. So look, all of you should look at this option in a very, very serious manner. We've written down the email IDs where you should send your CV to, and we'll take it from there. There will be the initial assessment will be done by C and Beyond team. And I see there are a lot of questions over here, and I will take this opportunity to probably summarize a few questions and ask either Captain Pawan or Suryameet. Let me also clarify, this webinar is only for opportunities for mariners. And that's how we were upfront about it. So I'm sure there are opportunities for non-mariners in JM Baxi, but this platform is only for the opportunity for mariners. And hence we'll probably stick to answering those questions in this webinar. So Suryameet, you'd mentioned, Suryameet, that you would prefer someone who's a little young. Of course, age is not a major criteria, but is there a number that you would want to put? Is there a range that you would prefer someone to start at?
I would not want to put a number, but somebody with 8 to 10 years of experience is preferable for us. So that they know the business, they know their jobs, and we can groom them for both roles.
Okay. I've had various questions in terms of the background which the people have, right? There is a question from Captain Rizwan. He's asking about a person, he's a master from a Ro-Ro car carrier background. I'm sure there are other questions with person from container, oil tanker, bulk background. Now, in the roles which you have, is there a background, is there a vessel experience which would be more suited for the roles which are on offer?
It's a little technical, Suryameet. I will take that question. It's a little technical. No, it does not make a difference. If you guys want just to know that I have never set a foot on a general cargo or bulk carrier. I'm a hardcore tanker man and I'm doing containers. I hope that answered.
Great. Good to know. So I think a lot of questions would probably be answered by that one very quick, objective statement of yours, Captain Pawan. Nitish, I see you've raised your hand. I'll probably come to you a little later. Let me just take up the other questions. In the meanwhile, if you can write down your question, then we'll come to you, please. All right, we've answered the question on employment.
There is one question, somebody's written that can we do this side gig whenever we are on a vacation? Definitely not. We're looking at serious people who want to come back to shore jobs.
Correct. There are questions which have, and I'm just reiterating the answer to this question, but there have been questions which have been by opportunities for marine engineers. And I think that's been addressed, but I'll probably just reiterate it. There are opportunities will be in the maintenance part, on the procurement side in the marine services. And also Captain Pawan, we mentioned that, if you're good, then maybe on the ops and BD side as well. That's where, marine engineers could look at as well. And okay, so I see that you're looking for someone who's had 10 to 12 years of experience already, and there's a preference that persons who have probably sailed at a top 4 level to enter in this program. Is that correct, or are you also okay for maybe someone who has about 12 years of experience but still is a third engineer or a second officer? Any thoughts on that? And is there a preference on, so that's one part of
The
the question.
preference is from the top management role of the ship, but that doesn't stop somebody who is being a senior guy who spent more years at sea and wants to step ashore. We are open to that as well.
Okay, great. Understood. One second, I have a question from Gopika and I'm just reading this. Okay. This is a very common question and I didn't see this anywhere and may not be related to what we are doing in this program. But for you, Captain Pawanbir, Gopika's question is that would you suggest that a person kind of reaches till a certain level and then looks at transition, maybe at top four, or even if a person is at junior level, they can look at transitioning to shore?
So I'll put it this way, if you want to work with the vessel related jobs, like a marine superintendent or a technical superintendent, then yes, you should be a chief engineer or a master's because they look with a various different lens. And there are many other jobs as well, which you directly don't deal. Being the superintendent deals maximum with the ship, or a crewing guy, or a marine superintendent deals maximum, not anybody else. So besides these jobs, I don't think that you need to be a captain or a chief engineer to step ashore. You know?
Understood. This is a question from one of the person. Are there opportunities outside India in this program, or are we looking mostly in India?
Only this program is only in India.
Yeah,
Okay.
at this point of time, only focus for Indian rules.
Okay. Okay. And uh, would you have a preference to people who have probably done some kind of upskilling rather than your normal COC courses or the seagoing courses?
It's always beneficial, but not mandatory.
Okay.
I don't see diversity here, Captain Rana.
There are less than 1%, females, and but
So-
a lot of them have, the names are also not showing up. But I saw a few females who had actually registered. I'm not sure whether they are here or not.
So let me tell you, as an organization, there's a lot of focus on diversity as well. If you would want to talk about it, the organization really gives preference to diversity candidates to build their career with it.
Awesome. That's good to know.
There are a lot of questions. I'm seeing that there are HR people from the industry who want to apply. Please give them Tarana or my email ID, Captain Rana. They can reach out to us directly.
Absolutely. Captain Rizwan, I just saw your question about how long is the program, and I'm just reiterating it's a 9-month mentorship program. It's not that you won't be working during this time. You will be assigned a certain location. You will be working from that location, but at regular intervals, all the people who are selected in this batch will come at a certain location for classroom studies, for some practical learnings, and then go back. So the point is that you would have a day job, and then you would also be prepared for taking more responsibilities. So there would be a certain level of interest, a certain level of commitment, which would be expected from the company for you as well, from your side as well. Great. Nitish, I just saw your comment, and I'll come back to you, and I promise I'll request you to speak as well. Okay, Captain Vijay Singh Bisht, I think your question has been answered in terms of the initial role, but I think I'll request Captain Pawanbir to probably spell out it a little bit or reiterate it again. So, what would be the role that you envisage that a master mariner or a chief officer or maybe top four who is coming into the container business? What's the initial role that we are envisaging through this program for these people?
Okay. You would be, in this program, what we intend to do is to give first-hand information of how many people are involved in this business, as who are the forwarders and who are the NVOCCs and who carry the cargoes and who book the cargoes. Right from there to the on-hand experience on a yard, berthing schedules, fixing, planning of the yard, delivering of the cargoes, hardcore operations. We would get you doing that as well. this would be the training module which we intend to give. And if people do complete this successfully, then you will be probably placed in one of our terminals doing exactly the same job. And then slowly and steadily you will rise the corporate ladder.
Understood, sir. Understood. There was a question in terms of people wanting to get into different roles once they enter the organization. So is that I mean, is that the vision that probably a person could enter into an ops role, but they can get into a commercial role
100%.
point of time as well? Okay.
100%. I mean, it's like this, everybody in this webinar, it's like you join as a cadet, right? And then you look into when you become a third mate, you look into LSA, FFA, and then you're looking into medical and navigation, and then you're looking after the cargo operations, and then you become a master in charge of all. So it's a similar role. You're doing operations, and then then you're exposed to a little bit of business development. Oh, then you get into commercial, and then you flare into whatever you're good at.
Okay, great.
And also to add to what Pawan said, we believe in job rotations. Other than this, we have an internal job posting policy. The moment an individual finishes 2 years, he or she is eligible to apply for any open opportunity within the organization, within the complete group. So every position which is available with the company is published on our intranet. Whoever wants to opt can apply and will get assessed for that particular work. The only criteria is minimum 2 years in the particular role with the organization.
Great, great. I see there are a few questions in terms of people who are not sailing or who have a different role, and whether this program is for them. I think we've highlighted that this program is we're looking typically for people who have sailed at top 4 positions on shipping. And so it will be difficult to answer each and every question, but that's what we are focusing, and hence we are taking questions only of which are relevant to those top 4 people. Ashutosh, again, it's a one-to-one question which you have. It's a personal guidance that you are looking at, Ashutosh. We can't take it in this particular platform, but do email to us to education@cnbeyond.com, and we should be able to help you on a one-to-one basis. Another question which is come at least 5-6 times and is on the remuneration. What is the CTC that we are looking at? And I'll need your guidance on that, Suryameet.
So we will keep a range anywhere between 20 to 38 lakhs is the tentative range of the compensation. But depending on the experience and the role and the location, it will vary.
Right. Okay. Understood. I hope that clarifies to all of you. Rajwan Singh Bains, you have written, what about officers other than top 4? This program is not for officers other than top 4. There are other opportunities, right? Not in JM Baxi. We had various places as well, and I'm sure JM Baxi would also have those opportunities. But we are right now talking specifically for a particular program which is designed for people who have sailed at a top 4 level. So please, try and understand that. Okay, and I think one question which hasn't come up, but how do you look at a progression of these guys? So basically, they join at a certain level. Where do you want them to reach maybe in the 5-10 years down the line? What is the company's thought process on this, please?
Sky is the limit.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. And it's not the company who's going to decide, trust me.
It's the individual who will decide where they want to take the career to.
Guys, so that's essentially, very few companies are going to tell you that. It's you who is going to decide where you would want to go.
We only have a criteria, minimum 2 years in a particular role, and then you're ready to move to the next.
Right. Awesome. That's really good to know. And I'm seeing if I've missed any relevant questions. Before I ask, Nilesh wanted to speak. He has some thoughts. He's worked in Shell and he's raised his hand a couple of times. So Nilesh, you wanted to speak. You had some thoughts which you wanted to share. Please go ahead. Nilesh, are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Nitish, yeah. Please go
Yeah.
ahead.
Thanks for giving me opportunity to speak up.
Right.
Actually, initially I started exploring source-based opportunity through C-job only. Yeah, that's why I would like to speak up. So I recently joined in October only. Sale assurance department comes under commercials, and where our primary responsibility is to screen vessels, before pre-fixtures. So there are a lot of opportunities there where we really don't need a top four or anything. Like C background matters, but not related to the rank, not just the rank. So, and to be very honest, from what I have understood, the role requires a very specific skill set, and aligning myself with those expectations has been essential. I was rejected twice before finally being selected on my third attempt. Initially, I started exploring Sojob through C-Job only, but the challenges were that the roles from major oil companies were rarely available there at that time. I don't know about now. I was only second officer and 26-year-old guy, and while the requirement for this role was typically for chief officer and above, they have written it, and that was preferable. And somehow I applied that. Despite that, I was still invited for the interview from the sale. Again, I want to thank sale. Yeah, and because I held kind of value-added courses and relevant to the position, because I was from last 1.5 year, I was working on the
I
skills.
understood, Nitish.
Yeah.
Just for the benefit of everyone, I understand that what you're saying is that sometimes maybe people who are not sale at certain level could be relevant, and I think that exceptions can absolutely be taken care of if you have certain level of upskilling, certain level of relevant experience that you've had. That's the point which you are trying to make, Nitish, correct?
Just to tell this in
Understood.
very precise.
Understood.
Yeah, before getting into sale, I don't have any kind of source-based
Understood,
experience.
Nitish, understood.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I
Yeah.
think I've had a discussion on the same with the JM Baxi team, and they are also aligned to that, right?
Yeah.
So if
Okay.
you have relevant skills, knowledge, but maybe not at that level, but as exceptional cases, that's the company is ready to look at those kind of profiles. So thanks for sharing your experience, Nitish.
Yeah.
It's
Thank you.
helpful.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Arvind has a question. Jambi also has a share in. Yes, Arvind, I think that's something which Suryameet did mention on the marine services part, that there will be opportunities across various verticals, not just ports and logistics, but across other verticals also there are opportunities. Right, guys. So before we end this, let me just take a quick poll in terms of how many of you would be interested in applying for this role. So even if you put in yes over here, one of our recruiters from C and Beyond, we would connect to you as well. So if you put in yes, there would be a call which would come to you from C and Beyond. And if you need more information, put in not sure. But if you're really interested, you can also email us your CV to education@cnbeyond.com and shehnaz@cnbeyond.com. I think, Smita, can you please write down these email IDs again in the chat window? Hitesh, North India, we've already told everyone that there is an opportunity in North India as well.
Sonipat and Nichapuri are the locations for
Correct.
North India.
Correct. Smita, also write down Shehnaz's email ID, please. Can you please write that down? Quickly, Aman, you have raised your hand. A quick 30 seconds, please summarize quickly what would you want to speak on.
Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity. My question is to Sumit ma'am. Ma'am, as someone who has worked in HR with Adani Port and DP World, what advice would you give to HR professional who wants to grow in ports and logistics industry?
Continue. If you're very clear that you want to stick to the same sector, please apply for JM Baxi. We are growing at a very fast pace.
Yes, ma'am, I'm very interested for JM Baxi Group.
Do send your resume through CNBeyond.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, guys. So I will again probably share you the process just for everyone to have a look at it, because I saw there were still a couple of inquiries on this. So please apply before 18th of March. There will be a psychometric test by 23rd of March, an internal assessment by CN Beyond between 18th to 26th of March. And then there will be a round of discussions for the next 15 days with JM Baxi, including probably group discussions, technical interviews, offers rolling out by 17th April, acceptance in another week's time, and starting in the first week of May. So just quickly sharing the application process. If you still, I'm sure all of you would have a few questions, and we at CN Beyond are there to help you as well. So we should be able to support you in terms of any questions which you have. Before I end, let me take a quick poll in terms of the feedback that you have. Were your expectations met through the webinar? Was the session useful for you? And how would you rate the session, please? Remember, guys, this is a very, very rare opportunity that the mariners get to enter into something which is not ship management related, right? Pure ship management related. And such kind of structured programs I haven't seen in the last probably 20 years in India. Right? So do look at this program. It should, but most importantly, it should align to what you would want to do. Right. Right, guys, I'll wait for another 10 seconds for the for you to answer on the poll, and then we will end the poll question and the webinar. Saurabh, we were not around during the webinar. Salaries have already been discussed. It's in the chat window. Okay, I'm ending the poll, and thank you everyone for replying, and we will reach out to whosoever has applied, and we will provide you enough and more clarification on the role. Once again, thank you so much, Suryameet. Thank you so much, Captain Pawan, for taking out time, and all of you, Saturday afternoon, going away from your family, attending for this webinar to give back to the community. And really, I think this will be very, very helpful and something which is path breaking in our own community. So thank you to both of you for really taking out time and attending the session.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you for your kind words, and thank you, my brothers and sisters who are sailing out at sea. Anytime sea and beyond is there to help you out. Please reach out to them for whatever you need.
Thank you so much, everyone. We look forward to having you guys on board at the earliest.
Thank you so much.
Very much.